need this box. Cannot see. Cannot see. Thank you. Thanks. Good morning. My friend Dick Durbin is on his way. We have a big caucus coming up in 10 minutes. So when he comes, I'm going to step away and turn it over to him. But to work with Dick Durbin on this bill I'm about to explain is a great honor. We're fighting to save our planet from the ravages of climate change through the Clean Air Act, through international agreements, and here is Senator Durbin, my partner in this, so I'm going to let him speak because he needs to run a meeting. So, Senator, I'm so honored that you're here on this issue. So exciting.
Thanks a lot. I want to thank Senator Boxer for allowing me to join her in this effort, because I think it is the right thing to do and the right time to do it. When I think about my kids and my grandkids, I know that we have a responsibility to address change for them and to anticipate what future generations will face as challenges. You don't have to listen to me about climate change. It's a fact. The insurance industry will tell you that, as will the American military. They take note of what we see changing around the world and what it means to our future and our economy. Many are planning for climate change, and many of them are looking at some of the challenges, such as flooding coastlines and year-round forest fires, that really will tax the revenues and assets of many units of government. This is not only a problem in far reaches of Arctic and Africa and in remote corners of the world, it's a problem right here at home and a challenge here. In the past 6 years, my home state of Illinois has experienced historic storms, floods, droughts, and it have cost millions of dollars in damage. The city of Chicago has been hit by 4 historic storms in the last 7 years, meaning flooding of homes and businesses and overflow of wastewater systems, even into our beloved Lake Michigan. The Climate Change Adapt America Bond Act will allow state governments, local governments, and other public entities, such as coalitions of governments, to apply for funding for infrastructure resiliency and climate change adaptation. And the best part is that everyday Americans can be part of the solution by choosing themselves to invest in buying climate action bonds to support these projects. So many Americans are doing what they can to conserve energy and recycle. I think many more will be attracted to this investment, which is really in the safety and future of our country. These bonds, climate action bonds, will allow everyday Americans to have an impact by helping communities adapt to the effects of climate change. Senator Boxer and I and other members of Congress will continue to fight climate change here at home and around the world and to support international efforts. But let's make sure we do the right thing for America and its future. This bill is a win-win for citizens who have the option of helping out by buying bonds, and for their local communities by receiving a boost to deal with the damaging effects of climate change. I might just say, Barbara and I came to this business of Congress together.
We did.
Elected in 1982, served together in the House for a number of years until she was promoted, and then I followed her. And it's not going to be the same Senate without her amazing leadership. But I hope that if we can't pass this year, that I can pick up the flag and carry it in her name in years to come, so that when we talk about finally passing this, it'll be known as Barbara Boxer's legacy, and it's a great legacy to be part of. Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you. Before you go, I have to show you 2 pictures here. I'm going to go off my script. So in the war bond period, this is what they put out for Baby's Future by War.com. So my genius press staff came up with this thought. How about this? For Baby's Future by Climate Change Fund. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And I just wanted you to see this is real, and I think it's going to motivate our people. Thank you, Dick.
So just to put it in context, do you remember buying savings bonds when you were a kid?
I was very, very young, but I know I knew of them.
You buy a $25 savings bond and you would pay $18.75.
That's right.
And then at the end of 10 years, they give you $25.
That's right.
And that's how we funded the wars, at least through World War II.
We raised, in today's dollars, $2 trillion.
And it
In
was,
today's dollars.
as a kid, we used to get savings bonds for our birthdays.
That's right.
Just what you were hoping for. You want an ice cream or candy, you get a savings bond, and it said $25 on it. I said, wow, it only cost $18.75. But wait 10 years, you get $25.
I know.
I've still got some.
Well, we're excited about this, so thank you for
You bet.
making this a new reality.
Thank
see you down there moments from now. Well, I couldn't be more honored, and when I asked Dick to do this, he said for allowing me to, I asked him to do this because I knew that I'm winding down, but climate change is just starting up, and I needed someone to pick up the banner, and he agreed to do it. So while we fight to save our planet from the ravages of climate change through the Clean Air Act and better mileage, international agreements, clean energy incentives, we know, as Senator Durbin said, climate change is all around us. It's already happening. From record high temperatures, wildfires, severe storms and floods to a crippling drought that has harmed communities, including so many in my great state of California. Adapting to climate change requires all of us to do our part. So the bill that we're introducing today, called the Climate Change Adapt America Bond Act, gives every American a chance to make a difference. Our people want to make a difference. They feel so frustrated, especially as they watch the debate here, where we had Republicans, 10 years ago ready to help, and now they're not. So Americans are thinking, what can we do? And if it wasn't for the Clean Air Act and the 5-4 decision in the court that said carbon pollution is covered, we would not have really many tools at our disposal. So we're fortunate that we have President Obama, who is using the Clean Air Act as it's meant to be used to reduce carbon pollution. But I will tell you, people want to help. And one of the most memorable and patriotic programs during World War II was the War Bond Program. So let's put up that's it. 85 million Americans saw ads just like this one. I wonder who that baby was, probably the daughter of the photographer or something, to support the war effort for their children's future. Everyday Americans stepped up, and they invested $185 billion, or $2 trillion in today's dollars, $2 trillion, to protect our nation and our future. And truly, the American effort made the difference. We need the same commitment today to protect our communities and future generations as we work to adapt to climate change. So I'm going to just tell you quickly what our bill does. Our bill authorizes the Treasury Department to issue up to $200 million every year in climate change bonds, which Americans can buy, and the revenue will go into a brand new Adapt America Fund administered by the Secretary of Commerce. States, municipalities, and other public entities will apply to the fund for grants so that each area is going to decide what it is that they really need. The Commerce Secretary, in issuing these grants, will use guidelines developed by the Climate Change Advisory Commission, made up of 11 climate infrastructure experts. And so they will use those guidelines from those 11. It's bipartisan. Democrats and Republicans in the House will appoint 2 climate infrastructure experts each. Democrats and Republicans in the Senate will each appoint 2 members, and the President will appoint 3. The Commission will help the Secretary determine what types of projects are the most important in each region. For example, in my state, the Commission may see applications for desalination plants, water recycling projects, and other projects that fight the drought. In the Gulf Coast, it may be flood control projects, the same way where the rising seas are hitting on the East Coast. In the parts of the country dealing with extreme temperatures, it may be cooling centers and other projects that deal with oppressive heat. I want to note that in the bill, we make it very clear that these funds will not replace existing funds but supplement them. So there's a maintenance of effort clause in the bill itself. To help leverage these funds, the entity receiving the grant must match at least 25% of the funds they receive. So everybody has skin in the game. Polls show the majority of Americans agree that we must take action to address climate change. This bill will tap into the patriotism of the millions of Americans who want to protect their country and fight climate change. They want to do their part, just as Americans did more than 70 years ago when FDR urged his fellow citizens to join him in one great partnership to save our country. So all of us, we're going to be asked by our children and grandchildren if we did everything in our power to combat the threat of climate change. And like most Americans, I want to be able to answer, Yes, I did. I did everything. I did everything I could. That's what this bill does. It gives the American people the chance to adapt to what is coming while we fight to reduce the ravages. We already see the ravages have started. So I'll stop there and be happy to answer any questions you may have. Anybody? Going once? Yes? Yeah.
Do you have any, I know, of course, you are heading out of this boarding soon. Are you looking for other senators besides Senator Durbin to get on this bill?
Of course I will. I've already discussed it with Senator Wyden. He's an important position on the Finance Committee, and he's very encouraged by this idea. He likes this idea because it is a chance to inject funds, needed funds, and give the American people a chance to get involved, and also give states and localities a great big say in what's going to happen. So for all those reasons, he likes it. But I haven't asked anybody else except Dick Durbin. I wanted to make a point by asking Dick. You know, Dick is the assistant minority leader, assistant Democratic leader, and he is, you know, Harry is leaving. So having Dick on this now, you saw that he made a commitment to me. It just touches my heart. He is such an effective person. I've worked with him on anti-smoking initiatives. I watched him because he watched his dad die of lung cancer, and so he took up the banner of stopping smoking in public buildings and airlines and so on. So I see what Dick can do. I worked with him. I teamed up with him on doubling the funds for the NIH years ago. So for me, he's not only one of my dearest friends here, but he is one of the best legislators I know. So that's why I was so excited that he could come, even though he's leading a meeting at this very moment that I do have to go to as well. Anybody else have any questions at all? All right. Thank you very much.